Hey brother! Today the temperature here in the mid-Atlantic just dropped below 60 degrees. At night. And I personally needed no further convincing that it was officially the time of year that I could start watching Frozen. Which I did last weekend, and my first question was, how many times can I watch Frozen by myself before it's too many? But my second and more relevant question was, who actually performed the act of true love that saves Anna? Warning if you haven't seen Frozen, spoilers starting as soon as now. So quick refresher in case you live in warmer climates and have not yet watched Frozen this season. The end of the movie goes a little like this. Of course, the reason she freezes because earlier in the movie, Elsa lost control of her ice powers and hit her with an ice blast, giving her a frozen heart. A condition which can only be cured by an act of true love, or else she will turn into a frozen sword-stopping statue forever. Except maybe not actually forever, because shortly after freezing, she does in fact thaw and everyone lives happily ever after. Well, except Hans. The question is though, who performed the act of true love that allowed her to thaw? The most obvious answer, of course, is that Anna herself performed the act when she stopped the sword from striking Elsa. I mean, seriously, what says independent woman more than performing your own life-saving act of true love? This would seem like the most likely answer, because immediately afterwards, Anna admits to Elsa that she saves her because she loves her, and Olaf then connects all the dots and exclaims,
"An act of true love will thaw a frozen heart."
But all we really have to go on here is Olaf's word, which would be great, except Olaf also describes other scenarios as acts of true love. Here are his words exactly.
Love is putting someone else's needs before yours.
And immediately before that, he says,
"Please, Olaf, you can't stay here. You'll melt."
I am not leaving here until we find some other act of true love to save you.
See, so by his own definition, Olaf himself is performing an act of love for Anna as a snowman staying by a fire to comfort her during a time of need.
Some people are worth melting for.
So is Olaf actually the hero? Well, I bet that he actually would had he just let himself melt. But
just maybe not right this second.
But he's not the only candidate. His definition also applies to Kristoff in two different ways. First, just the act of saving her by returning her to Arendelle and to who he believes is her true love.
Like, you know, how Kristoff brought you back here to Hans and left you forever.
The most traditional act of true love in a Disney movie ever is a kiss, and they even set you up for it.
A true love's kiss, perhaps?
You see it in Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, Beauty and the Beast, Princess and the Frog, and even WALL-E. But one of the things I love about Frozen is that they dangle this thought right in front of you twice. First with Hans, at which point you're thinking, great, what a wonderfully original ending to a Disney movie. What? He's evil? But what about that moment right after he meets Anna and he falls in the water and comes up out of the water and lifts up the boat and he smiles? Nobody else is watching him, but this looks like a genuine smile. But he knows he's evil at this point, right? Why is he smiling? Is he smiling at the horse? But I really think it's for the best though. Who wants a lifelong partnership with somebody who is constantly finishing your sandwiches? I feel like I'd always be hungry. Not to mention, Of the Southern Isles is a mouthful of a last name.
What's his last name?
Of the Southern Isles.
Then they do it again with Kristoff. They give you this big wide shot and you're like, oh man, can he run that far before Hans kills Elsa? But you're also thinking, ah man, it's still gonna be a kiss, but I guess at least it's gonna be with the guy she spent the entire movie with. But then no! But here's the thing, the kiss itself isn't that important because it's not mandatory for an act of true love. It was just a suggestion from one of the trolls that wasn't even the lead troll. Just the very act of returning to Arendelle to help Anna because he thinks she might be in trouble could be considered an act of true love. The real issue with either Olaf or Kristoff being responsible for the act of true love is that despite actions from both of them, Anna still freezes. Which brings us back to the most obvious explanation. Anna performing her own act of true love. If her jumping between Hans and Elsa was the act of true love, how come she still freezes in that exact moment? Shouldn't her trying to stop the sword stop her from freezing? Shouldn't she be missing half of a hand? And the whole movie would have been bumped up to a PG-13. So, if the act of true love wasn't performed by Kristoff, or Olaf, or Anna herself, then it has to be what happens next, when Elsa hugs her sister, finally opening that door that she closed on her so many years ago. Ah, true love's hug. Has a nice ring to it. Hashtag true love's hug. For my question of the day, who do you think performed Anna's act of true love? Leave your thoughts in the towel section down below. Guys, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you'd like to see more Frozen action from us, you can click right here to figure out who is the Prince of Arendelle, or click right here to have that opening ice harvesting scene explained. But Jay, that is everything that I've got for you today, man. I will see you on Tuesday.